Merry Christmas everyone, hope you had an absolutely epic time. Today we are going to talk about punctures. Now I don't actually get punctures all that often. For that little first clip there, I purposely made myself go out and get puncture, and I actually took like 3 or 4 tries, and it was the least dramatic puncture I've ever got. Just turned into a bit of a slow one. I was hoping for a real dramatic, like big loud snakebite noise, but instead yeah, just got that. So yeah, punches maybe not a bigger problem as I'm making them out to be, but you know, I hold back on a lot of moves. Like, I don't do kickers upstairs because I'm scared of getting punches. I don't like carrying a bag around with me with tubes and pumps. So my goal today is to experiment on my arcade. I've got some gubbins behind the camera there, and I'm going to do my best ever homemade tubeless conversion. Now, will it work? Who knows? I've actually tried tubeless before, and it was just like a classic homemade bodge, where what do? You just get an inner tube and you stretch it around the rim, then you put the tyre on the inside of that, and to be honest with you, it did work. The tyre inflated. I didn't get punctures, but whenever I tried to spin, or even when I just rimmed out on something, the tyre would just lift off the rim ever so slightly, and it's called burping, where it just burps out some of the fluids that you put in to stop it. So not ideal. But today I've got a new idea. I've seen this system on mountain bikes and it seems to work pretty well, and hopefully should fix the burping issue. So yeah, fingers crossed. Right, so first things first, I just need to get this tyre off here, which a pretty good fit. Now if you ever want to get a tyre off a rim easier, it's best if you pull it at one corner and squeeze the tyre around, and that should give you the slack to then pull the tyre off, no problem. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. I should have probably cleaned my bike a little bit. This rim's grubby as anything. Cool, just giving it a bit of a wipe down. Right, first things first, I need to get rid of this rim tape, because I'm going to make my own out of this stuff. This is Gorilla Tape, and it's recommended by a lot of manufacturers as a tubeless rim tape, and it's obviously airtight, it's durable, and you can layer it up, because if a tyre doesn't seat properly you can just add another layer just to make it a bit tighter. So ideal. I just need to figure out what width I need to use. It needs to ideally go right up to the bead of the rim. So let's have a look. I reckon that should do it. Yeah. The other good stuff about this Gorilla Tape is it tears exactly where you ask it to. So yeah, basically you just measure, do a little nick, and then you can literally just tear the whole thing. It'll just stay the same width. Ideal. So for this one, I'm actually going to put it over the valve, just so it just makes an even tighter seal around the valve. So I'll just overlap it a few times. Boom. That is the entire rim. Just try and press it down. Now hopefully that's enough. If that's not tight enough, I can just go around again and just build up the height a little bit. So excellent. The other thing I need, which I happen to have here, is a couple of tubeless valves. These are Presta, not ideal. I prefer Schrader or car type, but what can you do? So I need to make a hole through where the valve is, which is right there. I'm not going to bother cutting out a perfect circle. I'm just going to cut across, and hopefully that'll just push through. Do that as tight as I can, try and get a good seal on there. Right, so that's added. Now I just need to add a tyre. Fortunately, there's a box of brand new tyres over there, and to make everything go as good as it can, I thought a brand new tyre is probably the best way to go. It's pretty handy living this flat sometimes. Thanks, Conti. Right, let's see which way around does this go. I reckon that way. Now I get a lot of people complaining that I don't line up my logos quite right. It's not my fault, they don't quite match up, so I normally try and get one perfect and then the others end up where they end up. I'm not sure whose fault that is, but yeah, I'm not that bothered by it. I think you guys are a bit more perfectionist than I am. Now with spank rims, if you're having trouble getting your tyre on, I always recommend making sure the tyre is on one side of the central ridge. If it's crossing over the ridge at any point, then it makes life a little bit harder. So it's going over the ridge there, so if you just make sure it pops over, it gives it as much room as it needs. Usually. There we go, so that's the tyre popped on, and then you can just shimmy it over the central ridge onto the other side. And that gives the tyre room to get onto the next stage. Right, so now the tyre is half on the rim. This is where I'm gonna go and try my new system that I've seen. And I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but there's this new thing called Hook Norris, which is basically a central strip of foam which sits inside the tyre, and supposedly it pushes the tyre apart, and if you do rim out, it has a little bit of cushioning between the tyre and the rim, so it doesn't allow the tyre to pop off the rim. So I went and bought this stuff. So it looks like a yoga mat, doesn't it? But yeah, I thought, to be honest, I was going to try a yoga mat. This is closed cell foam, so it's a little bit more expensive, but the idea is it doesn't actually soak up like fluids, which is pretty ideal. If you're going to be filling your tyre with tyre sealant, you don't want it to all get soaked up. So this is water tyre sealant resistant, so yeah, ideal. So what I need to do now is literally cut a strip out of this, the width of the tyre. So I need a ruler or something. Okay, so I can't find a ruler, but I found something better. I've got my calipers here. Nice digital ones, fancy. And if that works. Well, the batteries run out, but I can still read it. And I've got a tyre here, which is already inflated, because I need to know how fat the fattest part is going to be, because that's where the foam's going to go. So the fattest part of the tyre in the middle is 62 millimeters. So that's how thick a strip I need to make out of foam. Excellent. Now there is one obvious elephant in the room. That is not a tyre size. So this is a complete bodge. I'm going to have to basically cut a couple of strips and attach them to each other. Now my idea for that is, well, my first idea was to cut some holes and zip tie them together, but I don't have any zip ties. So instead I have got under here some grip lock wire. I'm just basically going to cut a couple of holes, or even just poke it through and just wire them together. So in my head that'll work absolutely fine, but we'll see when we get to it. Now I have also cut this potentially too wide, but in my head wider is better because it might push the tyre onto the rim a little bit more. but if not, I can always just cut it down. So it's better to go too big than too small, I would say. So hopefully 2 of these strips will be enough for a wheel. That's more like it. Let's attach these together. It's turning out to be a very geeky vlog this week. So if you're not interested in bikes, yeah, maybe wait until the next one. Although if everything goes to plan, hopefully I will be riding a tubeless bike at the end of this one. So yeah, stick around and hopefully that will happen. I thought I had some pliers there, but I don't. Yeah, a couple of those should do the trick. So there we go, that's attached. Hopefully that will hold together and not rip apart. How big's the tyre? I could probably do all kinds of math just to measure the radius to get the circumference, work out pi, but I'm absolutely hopeless in maths, so I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way and literally just hold it over the tyre and see how big it needs to be. Stay in school, kids. That seems to be about a wheel size. I'm going to cut this, hopefully it's right. If not, I'm going to cry. But here goes anyway. And then if I wire that together, hopefully that'll do the job. But before I do, if I literally just put that in as it is, that's going to push against the walls of the tyre, and any sealant I have isn't going to get through, because obviously I need sealant to be all on the inside of the tyre. So before I do that, let's just check that. Before I do that, I need to cut some reliefs and some holes in this just to make sure the fluids can all get through. So I've seen the hook noise system has almost like a weird serration system going on. I'm not going to be that accurate. I'm just going to, I don't even know what I'm going to do, because I'm just going to hack into it. This is very scientific. Right, all done. As you can see, started with a semicircle, then I thought that takes too long, so then I started with a triangle. I started with the spaces quite close, and I remembered that the more I cut out, the less protection the rims got. So as I went along, the spaces between got a bit bigger, but I'm quite happy with that. Might just do a couple of holes in the middle just to make sure that as much fluid can get through as possible. So let's get on with that. All done. Now I'm just going to wire this together and stick it in the tyre and see if it works, the moment of truth. Now I've not done the neatest job in the world, but this is all experimental, it's all a bodge. I didn't want to spend too much time on it in case it didn't work, because yeah, that's just a waste of time. So this is a quick and rough attempt, basically. Excellent. Now, the moment of truth. Have I cut this to the right size? I'm a little bit nervous. At the minute it seems a bit on the big side, but hopefully once this has been seated, it'll sit a bit better. This is going to be quite tricky, I think. Hopefully I'll be able to get this on. Hopefully it won't make my tyre go a funny shape as well. It's almost tyre lever territory. Right, I'm giving up and getting some tyre levers. Okay, well, the tyre doesn't look too misshapen. Could pretty much ride this with no air in it as well. It's worked. What? No way. I'm not even putting this on slightly. I am genuinely absolutely amazed that's worked. So what I need to do now is basically pump this up until the bead pops. Timing. Ah, no way. This is brilliant. I'm going to pump it up to about 50 or 60 just to make sure everything's fine. Now I can feel some air coming out of the side there, but once I put some sealant in, that should fix that. But what I wanted to happen was I wanted the bead to pop on. So, that went way better than I was thinking. Amazing. Right, let's undo this, see what it's saying. Actually no, that was just coming out of the pump and the valve. I cannot hear any air coming out of that. No way. This has gone so good. So now, basically I need to deflate it and put some sealant in there. But basically that's the hard part done. Without sealant it works, so with sealant it's definitely going to work. Oh, I'm so happy right now. Right, so time to just let the air out of here. Like that. Need to remove the core again. And then I need to add some sealant. I've chosen stands just because I know it works, but there's plenty of others out there. I think probably all as good as each other. How am I going to get this in there? Ideally a syringe or something will be good. Right, moment of truth. Basically just going to inject that right in there. It's working. Oh, kind of. It's like feeding a newborn kitten or something. You know, when you get the milk in the syringe, it's like absolutely loving it. Go on. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Good boy. Ooh, a little bit. Sorry about that. The way I see Danny do it is he'll take the tyre off one of the beads and just pour it in. But I didn't want to have to put the tyre on again, so I'm doing it this way. There we go. Put the core back in. Right, let's get this pumped up again. Okay, what's going on here? There we go. Got it. There we have a tubeless wheel. Now I need to slosh this about, try and get that fluid everywhere. But that's actually worked. I am both amazed and happy. Oh, I just can't believe that's worked. I cannot believe it. So the only thing left to do is basically go out and give this a try. Go and try and ram it into some stairs. And sorry guys at Spank, I'm probably going to try and dent your rim. I've not done it yet, but if it's going to happen, today's the day. So that's the thing, that's going to be the ultimate test, is basically spins. See if the spinning can rip the tyre off the bead. Hopefully not. Right, I'm going to tidy up a bit, get this fitted, and then let's go out for a ride. Right, so I'm just going to basically do some tests just outside my flat in this area. Going to basically back wheel some walls, try and rip this tyre off the bead a little bit. We do have a little bit here just from the valve, so I'm just going to wipe that off. Basically, if we see any sealant on the tyre anywhere, we know that it's burnt. So fingers crossed it won't. Okay, so I rimmed out as hard, if not harder, than it took me to get a puncture before. And there's just a bit of sealant around the valve still, but I'm not seeing anything. Now, I definitely heard some reverberation with the rim then, so I'm pretty sure I did hit the rim with some impact, but no puncture, no burpage. Ideal. No leakage. This is working pretty well so far. I would definitely have got a puncture from a couple of those then. And no dents, no tyre burps, no punctures. This is working absolutely brilliantly. I gave this maybe a 50-50 chance of working, but so far it's 100%. So, amazing. Unfortunately, all the real tyre testers are in quite busy places, and it's just after Christmas and everyone's out shopping, getting into sales. So I'm actually struggling finding somewhere to really test this tyre. So perhaps this vlog is quite long as it is. It was to just test to see if the concept would work, and it does. Perhaps I'll just leave the real testing to another time, but I will just have a quick look around, see if there's something in a quieter place where I can just give it a good try, give it a good test, give it a good beating. Or just say the word.
When you're ready.
Cool, here goes.
Thank you so much.
No problem. That's a very odd request,
We
but
need to get an address so we can send you them.
so that doesn't happen every day. Being asked to partake in a wedding photo. Thanks, guys. I think today's coming to a bit of an end, so I'm going to end it there. Today was a proof of concept. The concept works. I need to just have a dedicated riding vlog and just put it through its paces. So I'll leave that to some other time. I'm not sure what the next vlog is going to be. You're going to have to just wait and see. But if you subscribe, you get notifications. But if you don't subscribe, it's every Friday. So yeah, have a watch. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it and have a good week. Get out on your bikes and have a really good new year as well. So take care, guys. See you later.